everyone, my name is Mehek. I hope you guys are doing fine and safe, and like always I also hope that you guys are reading. Back with another book which is a very tough read for me. I finished reading A Short History of Russia. Very interesting hardcover, I would say, which kind of attracted me. It's by Galeotti, From the Pagans to Putin. So I came across this book just when the Russia-Ukraine war started, and I'm sure just like many other, I wanted to read more about Vladimir Putin and about Russia in general, and be just aware of the history and about this country. And I thought, why not, to quench my curiosity, I'd pick up this book and read more about it. And I thought that reading the word history here, I thought, or maybe misunderstood, that I would come across the culture, the life of the normal people, how it has evolved, and obviously about the art in Russia. And but sadly it wasn't that. But if you're a history buff, and if you're someone who would want to read about the war or the conflicts that took place in Russia, the exchange of leadership, the powerful people that came to Russia and came in power in Russia, and made it the country, or shaped the destiny of Russia, or made it the country that it is today, for better or for worse, then this book is for you. Very little, like I said, very little said about the normal people and the culture of Russia. And I would just repeat it again, that this book was actually tough, in fact very tough for me, because the author has started from, like, I think 15th 16th century, and there are too many names and leaders and events that shaped Russia, very important events. But it was too much to grasp, and I'm not a history buff, but like I said, if you're a history buff, then you would definitely enjoy this read. Russia is a country with no natural borders, no single ethnic group or central identity. The author, takes us through the formation of Russia through early legends of Ivan the Terrible, Catherine the Great, the rise of the Romanovs, Russian Revolution, Cold War. Then there is also Chernobyl disaster, the Soviet Union, and finally the rise of obscure politician Vladimir Putin. Now he also, which was very interesting actually, he compares Russia to this document called the palimpsest document, which is basically a document which is used to write and rewrite stuff on it. So you write it again and again on a single document, and still the early writings can be deciphered. So he says, through many years, in centuries in Russia, leaders have come and they have written over the history of Russia again and again, and highlighted the victories of Russia and kind of shaped it the way they wanted, depending on the leader, whoever has come in power. They have rewritten the history and highlighted the victories of Russia, and you also read about events that kind of isolated Russia from the rest of the Europe, and that's the reason they don't have a central religious identity, and there is not, like I said, no single ethnic group. And that's the reason, the author makes a point that all the leaders who have come into power, they have found it, very difficult to maintain a central grip on Russia. And, they have always felt that, if they're not autocratic, they're going to lose the grip on the country, so there's always that fear that you don't have to let your guard down, that has always been the fear of the leaders, because of Russia not having a central identity, and because of all the events that happened in the past, which kind of isolated it from rest of the Europe. And I wanted to read more about Putin and the rise of Putin, but sadly it came in the very last chapter and was just summarized in a few pages, much to my dismay. And but there are a few interesting things that I came across that I will read it out to you. So author says, who was Putin though? He offered no clear program, but his promise of a dictatorship of the law appealed to those tired of the lawlessness of the past decade. Putin was lucky. The Russian people were desperate for an end to the misery of the 1990s, and now they had a leader who was not only sharp and energetic, he had the resources to rebuild the country. In essence, he offered a new social contract: keep quiet and stay out of politics, and I will guarantee you a steadily improving quality of life. After the shabby decay and spectacular collapse of the Soviet Union and the wild 90s, this was a deal most were willing to accept. And there's this very interesting thing in the last, which the author has concluded, which is great actually. When Russians are polled about what they want for their future, their country's great power status and fear for its security come far down the list. Instead, they crave not for just a decent life, but freedom to speak, organize and protest, an end to corruption, and a chance to feel that they can have something meaningful impact on how their society is organized. All the freedoms we take for granted in the West, which I think beautifully summarize what the people there feel. So yeah, I mean, lastly, if you want an overview of, like it says, a short history of Russia, if you want an overview of the events, then this book is perfect for you. But if you want an in-depth analysis, then obviously you might not enjoy this book, because this book just touches upon main events. Lastly, if you're a history buff, please try this book. If not, like me, you can skip this book. Yeah, so that's all on this book. I'm going to see you guys next week with another title. For those celebrating Holi, happy Holi. Be safe and enjoy with your family. Take care.